Right now, I would like to have you welcome the mayor of the city of Plymouth for the state of the city, Mayor Jeff Wosje.
Thank you, Dave. Mayor. Thank you, Dave. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for joining me for the 2024 State of the City Address. I'm honored to be here today to highlight our amazing community. I am proud to say that the state of the city continues to be strong, and that we continue to be a welcoming and diverse community. We have great schools, wonderful neighborhoods, and a proud sense of community. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to recognize city council members and other elected officials that are in attendance here today, including two newly appointed council members, Kimberly Nelson from Ward 1, and Catherine Chesnick from Ward 3. They have stepped up to serve the remainder of the terms previously held by Elise McGregor and Jim Davis, who resigned earlier this year. Thank you, council members Nelson and Chesnick, for stepping up and answering the call to public service. We also have with us today County Commissioner Kevin Anderson, State Representative Jenny Cleavorn, and State Senator Bonnie Westland. Thank you for coming. During my time as mayor, I've had the pleasure of meeting many wonderful residents, visiting a variety of thriving businesses, and working closely with dedicated city staff. I've noticed a strong theme in Plymouth, and that's innovation. Whether it's a fresh approach to problem solving, a leading edge product or service, or a new way to improve quality of life, Plymouth and innovation go hand in hand. Thank you. In this address, I'll discuss some of the amazing accomplishment of Plymouth businesses and dive deeper into the work we do for the city to support innovation in the community. Plymouth has been fortunate to attract major global companies over the years, such as Medtronic, Abbott, Cargill, and Honeywell, as well as a diverse range of smaller businesses. In fact, Honeywell is currently expanding into a second location right here in Plymouth. I am proud that our robust business community continues to hold Plymouth's ranking as Plymouth's fourth largest economy in the state. I'm also inspired by the groundbreaking work accomplished right here in our own backyard. I recently had the opportunity to tour Histosonics, a company that has developed a system that uses guided sonic beams, which are sound waves, to treat and destroy tumors in liver tissue. The machine, known as the Edison histotripsy system, is a non-invasive therapy which uses pulse sound waves to induce like a bubble cloud from gases in targeted tissues. These bubble clouds form and collapse in microseconds, creating mechanical forces strong enough to destroy tumors at a subcellular level without surgery. Yeah. This is truly groundbreaking stuff that's happening. We learned on the tour that the treating physician is able to continuously monitor the bubble cloud and the treatment effect in real time. It's absolutely amazing to see what's happening in some of these businesses. We also see an impressive ingenuity at Nonan Medical, a med tech company with a long history of innovation. Nonan developed a finger pulse oximeter, which measures blood oxygen level. The company saw a huge surge in demand during the pandemic, claiming Nonan a spot on Inc. magazine's 2020 Best in Business list, which recognizes the most inspiring and innovative companies of that year. Another Plymouth-based company, Eurotronic, is developing a product like drug-coated balloons, known as Optilooms, which they describe as the future of urology. We frequently hear about exciting research and development coming out of other innovation-driven companies here including Silk Road Medical, Banner, Phillips Engineering, ProMed Molding, Steris, and many, many more companies. While Plymouth's niche has been med tech, a variety of other businesses and industries thrive here as well. For instance, power sports. Plymouth is home to major facilities owned by Polaris and CF Moto, two of the world's leading producers of recreational motorized equipment. CF Moto has had a presence in Plymouth for 15 years. And just this past year, we were invited to celebrate their grand opening of CF Moto's new 120,000 square foot facility in eastern Plymouth. When it was time for the company to expand, CF Moto didn't even look at other cities. They wanted to remain in Plymouth, and that's an outstanding testament to what this city can offer businesses. In the health and wellness sector, we recently welcomed a brand new Twin City Orthopedics campus at Highway 55 and Rockford Road, the successful redevelopment of the former Dundee Nursery site. Now, as someone who's had rotator cuff and hip replacement surgery, I am really appreciated the added orthopedic services that we have in Plymouth. The TCO facility includes orthopedic care, surgery center, imaging, physical therapy, sports performance training, care suites, and more. And then another orthopedic provider has also announced plans to expand and relocate their Plymouth office, Summit Orthopedics. Summit is part of a major mixed-use redevelopment taking shape at the former Prudential campus on Bass Lake Road in 494. And earlier this month, the council approved plans for the 75-acre site, which consists of residential units, mixed retail, waterfront dining, and a large park with trails and green space. Demolition of the vacant building is underway, which will be followed by road work and utilities, as well as groundbreaking for Summit Orthopedics. After that, we could potentially start to see construction work begin on a grocery store, multifamily building, restaurants, and retail. Summit Orthopedics could begin treating patients in the fall of 2025, and we could have residents moving into these apartments in the summer of 2026. In other business news, Care Counseling, which offers compassionate mental health services, opened a new location off Rockford Road in 494. Fusion Soccer opened a 20,000 square foot indoor space for youth soccer programs. And Rock Elm Tavern recently cut the ribbon at its new clubhouse, an event space that features 3 multi-sport simulators for golf, hockey, soccer, and more. And earlier this month, I helped cut the ribbon at Nala's Kitchen, a new spot for vegetarian and vegan Indian cuisine. To support Plymouth small businesses, we began hosting a small business networking group that meets every other month. It's a great opportunity for business owners and entrepreneurs to share ideas, relationships, and expand their networks. You can learn more by stopping by the Community and Economic Development booth here today, which is down in that corner. Another way to support Plymouth restaurants, hotels, and sports facilities and entertainment venues is to bring more visitors to the city to eat, stay, and play. We recently launched a new destination marketing organization, or what we refer to as a DMO, similar to a Convention and Visitors Bureau. The DMO will promote the city as a destination for high-quality tourism and visitor experiences. The position is funded by the city's lodging tax, which is collected during the hotel stays as part of the tax to rent a room. A new name for the brand for DMO will be announced later this year. I'm grateful to have such a thriving business community right here in the city. To support our businesses, the city continues to prioritize high-quality infrastructure and amenities. One of the City Council's ongoing strategic priorities is revitalizing Plymouth City Center and cultivating a vibrant, walkable downtown area. The Plymouth City Center is the area that contains the Hildy, Plymouth Lifetime, the library, the City Hall, and more. Last fall, the City Council updated its zoning ordinance to allow for residential apartments, townhomes, and other mixed uses such as first floor retail, and upper-level apartments. The City Council also adopted a new design standard to help guide future development. Another step is the redesign of Plymouth Boulevard, which runs through City Center. Beginning in May, Plymouth Boulevard will undergo major improvements between Highway 55 and Rockford Road. The project will enhance pedestrian safety, upgrade trail connectivity, and provide spaces for public art and community gatherings, support expanded transit services, and more. Roundabouts will be added at the 4 intersections along Plymouth Boulevard to help decrease crashes and improve pedestrian safety. Instead of crossing the entire road at once, which has 6 lanes with the turn, when you count the turn lanes, pedestrians will be able to cross between what's called a splitter island, so they only have to cross 1 lane of traffic at a time. That will help with safer crossings as pedestrians can stop, check for vehicles before continuing to cross. The bulk of the construction is expected to wrap up in September. Revitalizing Plymouth City Center is also one of the city's top legislative priorities. Because City Center draws thousands of visitors for hockey, concerts, and events each year, Plymouth has requested state bond funds to help pay for infrastructure in City Center. Always glad to see our legislators clapping at that one. It'll include roadwork, stormwater ponding, a public parking ramp, and more. We've also begun exploring the possibility of adding a 4th sheet of ice. Greg will be happy to hear that throw out. To meet the demand and provide more space for when Plymouth hosts state and national hockey tournaments. Because our infrastructure is a regional asset, we advocate for state resources to help mitigate the financial impact on Plymouth residents. We are also asking the state to authorize a tax exemption for construction materials for city center infrastructure to reduce costs, as well as permit a tax increment financing district to allow growth in new tax base from the redevelopment to help fund those infrastructure improvements. Both legislative requests are designed to mitigate the financial impact Plymouth taxpayers. Another area set to be transformed is Highway 55 and Station 73, known as the Station 73 Transit and Regional Improvement Program, or what's referred to as TRIP. The project will help increase safety for pedestrians, motorists, and transit users, utilizing a coordinated approach for the entire area. Set to begin in the spring of 2025, the project will add a pedestrian tunnel under Highway 55, realign County Road 73, add roundabouts, and more. The city applied and received a $15 million federal grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation to make it possible. The city's innovative work with Station 73 TRIP and our continued exploration of bus rapid transit on Highway 55 has also spurred critical reinvestment in the area. For example, across the highway from the project, we have a proposed transit-oriented development that will create a new 6-story mixed-use apartment building and townhomes. So we're excited to see such a positive ripple effect from the infrastructure and advocacy efforts that we've made. Another infrastructure project coming down the road in 2025 is the 3rd and final phase of the redesign of Chancada Trail, formerly County Road 47. This final stretch from Vicksburg Lane to Northwest Boulevard is currently in the design phase. The overall project is a huge undertaking in the northern part of the city and addresses necessary improvements for capacity and safety in the area. Besides roads, our Public Works Department is seeing investment in the city's water system. The city recently was awarded $2 million in congressionally directed funding for improvements to the Zachary Water Treatment Plant, which will this will increase the efficiency and help conserve water. Construction is slated for later this year, but will not impact service while it's underway. We also have good news from our transit division, which operates Plymouth Metrolink. Transit Administrator Nur Kassan, will you please come up on stage? Last year, the Minneapolis Regional Chamber awarded Plymouth MetroLink with the Excellence and Innovation Mobility Award for the expansion of our Click and Ride, which provides on-demand shuttle anywhere in Plymouth, in addition to select locations outside the city. NER was instrumental in expanding that service to the Maple Grove Transit Station early last year. This has allowed riders to connect to other area transit services and take trips to anywhere in the cities of Maple Grove, Osseo, Brooklyn Park, and Brooklyn Center. In addition to the Robbinsdale Transit Center, Crystal Shopping Center, and the Cross Food Shelf in Rogers. Congratulations, NER, and thank you for all the work you do to enhance mobility and truly leveraging technology and innovation. Now, I highly recommend our residents explore and look at the Click and Ride. It's an accessible service that costs only $3 per trip. Visit the Plymouth MetroLink booth over on that side of the trail over there. Our Parks and Recreation team has also been innovating with a variety of new recreation offerings. They have been working hard to ensure that everyone in our community has the opportunities to participate in fun programs. While all recreation staff have been developing more inclusive programs, there are two people in particular that have been leading this charge. Recreation Supervisors Paul Pearson and Katie Endell. Paul and Katie have been instrumental in expanding Plymouth's inclusive and adaptive offerings. These specialized programs are led by instructors trained to teach individuals who are on the autism spectrum or experience anxiety, physical disabilities, sensory sensitivities, and motor delays. Plymouth now offers adaptive and inclusive gymnastics program, art classes, music lessons, nature camps, and more. When Katie and other recreation staff began rolling out a variety of new aquatics programs at Wayzata East Middle School pool earlier this year, they had adaptive and inclusive programs in mind. In addition to water exercise classes, birthday pool parties, drop-in swimming, and other pool programs, Plymouth offers adaptive swim lessons taught by Swim Angelfish certified instructors. And Paul is in the process of earning a certificate of inclusive recreation from National Inclusion Project, which indicates that he has been trained to comprehensively meet the needs of children with disabilities in recreational settings. Paul's previous work helped certify the Plymouth Community Center as a sensory inclusive venue through Culture City. Paul also helped Plymouth earn a statewide award last year for the new event at the Community Center, Santa Visits the Sensory Room. That program offered a sensory-friendly holiday fun for families in a calm environment. Paul, Katie, and the entire Park and Recreation team, congratulations, and thank you for working to make Plymouth a more innovative and welcoming community. And we received a lot of positive feedbacks about the expanded programming from parents. You make Plymouth proud. Speaking of feedback, we're very excited to begin work on a big park project this year, the Meadows Playfield. The amenities planned for this park are the result of feedback and requests from residents. The Meadows will feature the Plymouth's first ever cricket pitch. And one of the only cricket pitches around. It will also have overlapping soccer fields, 3 lighted pickleball courts, 2 lighted tennis courts, and a hockey rink with basketball hoops for multi-purpose use. Residents can enjoy skating, a sledding hill, a balanced bike course, and trails. The park will also include a 4-season restroom building and picnic shelters, as well as native prairie and pollinator-friendly plantings. Then we have Schmidt Woods Playfield will also be developed this year, thanks to a beautiful plot of land generously donated by Roger and Pete Schmidt Estate, and land dedicated to the city as part of the Hollydale development. The new park will feature an all-wheel skill area, a discovery trail, a hammock grove, play shelters, and a park shelter. Schmidt Woods will also include a sugar house used for educational opportunities about maple syrup production in honor of the Schmidt family's legacy and love for making maple syrup. Speaking of legacy, there are exciting things happening at Plymouth's Old Town Hall, which has historically been used as a museum. Staff have been busy cleaning and chronicling items in anticipation of reopening this summer. They've also been working to develop exhibits and activities that feel relevant and interesting, which will better connect people to Plymouth's past and pique interest in learning about the city's history. Stay tuned for more information that becomes available. Another reason for people to feel connected to Plymouth is because they feel safe. I'll say quality of life starts with feeling safe in your community. Public safety here is our top priority. We continue to make investments to ensure our police and fire staff are prepared, healthy, and effective. We do this by supporting unique training opportunities, developing wellness programs, and finding new ways to improve service. This past year, we held a large-scale training right here in the community center with the Wayzata Public Schools. The drill tested reunification for parents and students in the event of a school evacuation. In this case, the training simulated families needing to be reunited after a gas leak. Our personnel gained valuable insights and experience. We also recently welcomed Community Assistance Specialist Tracy Lanuski to the team. In this new position, Lanuski will assist residents with assessing resources to improve health and safety. The role includes conducting outreach, evaluating data to identify needs, and advocating for the needs of the community members in a culturally sensitive manner. We've also seen investment come from the state level. In 2023, the Minnesota legislature approved a one-time public safety aid package that allocated $300 million to local governments. That included $3.5 million to Plymouth. With the funding, we selected 3 new positions to be funded in the initial 3 years, including a police cadet, a fire cadet, and an IT position dedicated to public safety. Additionally, $1.25 million of the funds will be used for police and fire equipment needs throughout the coming year. The department is carefully considering options for the remaining funds, which are dedicated to public safety. In Plymouth, the police department have continued to focus on keeping our communities safe, creating positive interactions with residents, and building meaningful relationships in the community. One way Plymouth officers build relationships is in our schools. With the new school resource officer legislation recently signed into law, we expect to see some of our officers back in Plymouth schools beginning the week of April 8th. And I personally want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all our state legislators working on that bill to make it happen. Thank you very much. Police officers participate in hundreds of community engagement interactions every year, which help enhance the quality of service we provide. Examples include Books with Badges, Bingo with Badges, Public Safety Citizens Academy, Coffee with Cops, Cops and Bobbers, Night to Unite, Presence with Public Safety, and more. The department also continues to invest in its community conversations, which offers opportunity for groups to meet with police staff, ask questions, share perspectives, and learn about tools and technology. Police have also taken this program on the road, meeting with nonprofits, religious organizations, and homeowners associations at their locations. This innovative approach has helped the department build relationships through productive and insightful conversations, and also have a real impact on public safety. Engaged and supportive residents can be a major factor in crime prevention. In fact, we've seen encouraging statistics from the past year. In 2023, there was a 25% decrease in the most serious crimes from the year before in Plymouth, This continues a downward trend we've seen over the past couple of years. In fact, Group A crime, which includes assaults, burglary, weapons offense, and thefts, was lower last year than in 2019 before the pandemic. Wellness, safety, and training are also strong themes within Plymouth. The fire department is getting comfortable operating out of their two recently remodeled fire stations. Completed within the past couple of years, Fire Station 2 and 3 were transformed into state-of-the-art facilities with incredible new features to support training, response, and firefighter health. Following a construction-related delay last year, we are ready to celebrate the official public opening of Station 2 this summer with an open house and a hose decoupling. Not a ribbon cutting, a hose decoupling. I am proud to invite the community to stop by the station on Saturday, June 1st to view the new innovative facility. Participants can also get a look at the new Tower 21, the new ladder apparatus that was put in commission just last year. I'd also like to note that the Plymouth Fire Department is currently recruiting part-time on-call firefighters. The position is designed to be flexible to accommodate parents with children and those working full-time jobs. Part-time on-call firefighters earn an hourly wage and are partially vested for a pension after 5 years. If you're interested in serving others by becoming a firefighter, I encourage you to stop by the fire department booth here today. Another core service we provide is managing city finances. Plymouth has a long track record of offering high-quality services and infrastructure while practicing good stewardship of tax dollars. Due to careful long-term planning, a 10-year financial forecast, the city's financial position remains strong and stable. Residents have historically received great value for their tax dollars in Plymouth, and we are proud that Plymouth continues to have the lowest tax rate of Hennepin County cities with populations of 10,000 or more. And Plymouth also continues to maintain AAA bond ratings from Standard & Poor's and Moody's Investor Service. And Plymouth is only one of 9 cities in the entire state to maintain those bond ratings. This is important when the city goes out to do bonding. When we went out and issued bonds for this community center and the rehab of our 2 fire stations, the city was able to secure a 20-year fixed rate of 1.67%. To ensure the city keeps up with Plymouth's continued growth and demand for city services and amenities, the overall tax levy increase was 7.5% from 2023. However, the cost of the 2024 levy increase was offset by the growth in Plymouth's tax base. In 2023, we increased a tax value in Plymouth by more than $163 million that expanded our tax base. Despite inflation and increased costs, Plymouth tax rates continue to remain relatively flat. Financial stability and sound practices are crucial to a city's well-being, but that wouldn't be possible without well-trained, dedicated personnel to provide the highest quality services our residents have come to expect. The city continues to focus on recruiting and retaining top-notch, customer service-oriented staff in alignment with the City Council's strategic priority of to maintain and bolster Plymouth's standing as a city of choice. This focus stems from the city's long-standing culture of customer service. We see these values embodied throughout the city and its leadership team. Plymouth City Manager Dave Callister was recognized last year with a prestigious award for his many years of exceptional service. Dave, will you come up here, please? Dave received the Dr. Robert A. Barrett Award for Management Excellence from the Minnesota City County Management Association, or the MCMA. The award is the organization's highest honor and is given in recognition of outstanding service in local government management. The MCMA recognizes recipients who demonstrate respected leadership, serve as a role model, and have a track record of supporting and mentoring others in local government. Having worked with Dave for more than a decade, I can confidently say that there's no one more deserving of this award than Dave. Dave continues to lead the City of Plymouth with integrity, wisdom, and compassion. He works hard to foster a culture of excellent customer service, and he empowers his staff across the organization to infuse innovation into the city's work. This award is not just a reflection of Dave's work, it is also representative of the entire team of city staff. Congratulations, Dave, and thanks for all you do for the city. This past year in Plymouth has been another successful chapter in our city's history. It's rewarding to look back and acknowledge our hard-earned accomplishments and the accolades we received by city staff, and the bold ideas that have turned into groundbreaking discoveries right here in our business community. As we reflect and look ahead to major projects on the horizon, it's clear to me that innovation is the beating heart of Plymouth's success story. Every resident, volunteer, city employee, and business person in Plymouth is taking part in our story, a narrative that demonstrates how innovation is woven into the fabric of our day-to-day life. Some days may feel trivial, while others bring monumental progress. But each time we courageously act to take on a new idea, take a chance, collaborate, develop, and dream, we take part in the innovative nature that has propelled this city forward and help build a better community for everyone who calls Plymouth home. Thank you for coming out to discover Plymouth today. We're going to call Dave Kaiser from CCX Media, and we're just going to do a little more informal Q&A session for you.
Great job, Mayor. Mayor, let's chat for a minute here, and we've got a special guest coming up with us in just a moment. You mentioned the word innovation many times in your presentation. Tell us how Plymouth became a city of innovation. What happened? Take us back.
Well, it really started back in the mid-'60s. That's when 494 was starting to go through Plymouth. And actually, Kurt Carlson had the vision and the idea to create an industrial park in Plymouth. So the industrial park we know today that runs along both sides of 494, which is still the largest industrial park in the state, was all the idea and brainchild, so to speak, of Kurt Carlson. So that's kind of how it started.
Let's talk about transportation as well. That was something that was very important and helped the city and still helps the city today.
Right, and the 494 and the loop that goes around, the proximity to downtown Minneapolis, the proximity to the airport, created this place on the industrial park then where you could get product on and off. Employees could easily access those employers, those jobs to get there. So that was an important component just for the product and for people to access those businesses.
To make this happen with innovation, you need some smart people behind the scenes. And those smart people look at something in the community to decide if they're going to come or not that you might not be aware of. What do those folks look for, and how has Plymouth stepped up to the plate there, and a partner as well?
Yeah, so we really kind of looked at what makes up that. Why has MedTech, med device become so pervasive in Plymouth? And really it's what is needed for innovation, whether it's CF Moto for the power sports or Medtronic or whatever it might be. You need engineers, really smart engineers that can design products, figure out a better way to make something. And what engineers, I've talked to enough of them, one of the highest values they have is they want a great education for their kids. So Plymouth has been blessed with really good public and private education systems locally here, and that's attracted a big population of engineers. And then we've had companies that have just continued to grow and develop here that are in close proximity that needed resource they need.
All right, so they tend to flock together. Is that what has happened over the years, that you get a few businesses that start and other businesses say, that's a great place, I want to be next to them?
Absolutely, that's what's happened. Medical Alley is called Plymouth, the medtech hub of the country. We have the largest concentration of medtech, med device of any city anywhere in the country. And that is not a mistake in terms of how it's developed. Recently, last year, I believe it was, Silk Road Medical was looking at Boston market, or they were looking at Plymouth. And they chose Plymouth just for a lot of those reasons we talked about, the proximity. They were around other businesses of similar nature that they chose to come in Plymouth. Plus, we have to give a shout out to the deed, with the deed grants we got to help support them to make that move here.
So a lot has happened over the years in Plymouth, and you saw on the slides and a little video of something called the Edison. Let's talk a little bit more about the Edison and a company behind that, and you have a special guest here. Introduce that guest for us. We'll have him come up.
Yeah, I've asked the CEO of the company, Mike Blue, to come up and share with us a little bit about how this works, maybe the history of it, because it is absolutely amazing how this company can treat tumors. So, Mike, why don't you just start out sharing with us a little about the history of the company, how it got started. How does this thing work to a layman who is not an engineer?
Good morning, everybody. First, Mr. Mayor, you did an unbelievable job describing. First, you did an unbelievable job of describing our technology. Most of our doctors, honestly, can't do it as well as you just did it. So very impressive. Thank you for having me today. Hi, everybody. Good morning. So yes, Mike Blue. I'm the president and CEO of Histosonics. And this was a 25-year overnight success. Nothing this innovative happens quickly, especially with agencies like the FDA. So it has been 25 years in the making, was originally a spin-out of the University of Michigan, but literally everything you presented is why we ended up here in Plymouth. We're right behind the Lund's grocery store, and it's just a wonderful place to call home. Selfishly, many of our leadership team live in Plymouth for all the reasons that you stated. And I'll just comment, as a company, we're all about experience. The North Star for us is the patient to leave, because it's completely non-invasive, to leave the patient totally pristine when they awake from the procedure and they have tumor destroys. They're not even aware they had a procedure. But for our physicians, who we fly hundreds in now every month from around the world to get trained on the Edison procedure, and we want the experience from the airport to our office and what they see in the town of Plymouth to meet everything we are as an organization, which is warm and friendly and innovative.
Mike, I would think perseverance a big word for you, especially with the Edison, and you mentioned the FDA and also some of the clinical studies. How long does that take, and what is that process like to get a product like that to where it is today?
So it has taken the company just about 14 years through many clinical trials to prove that it's safe and efficacious, which is the responsible thing for the agency to do. So 14 years now, and we're finally in the clinic treating patients with liver cancer. We've begun enrolling patients in a kidney tumor trial, and later this year we'll begin treating pancreatic cancer patients. So 14 years.
Mike, why don't you share with us some of, as you're going through the trials, and when was the FDA approval given for the liver tumors, and talk about what a patient has experienced. You shared without a patient who had the procedure done and then actually had some other tumors taken out as well surgically. Maybe share with that experience.
You bet. So we got our FDA approval on October the 6th of this past year. It was a glorious day for the company. There was a big celebration right behind Lund's, if you heard us celebrating. And we're so fortunate that already we've had 30 hospitals in the U.S. buy an Edison robot. They're not inexpensive, so it's a big deal for a hospital to buy. Fortunately, one of our great early partners is the Mayo Clinic. Although one of our beliefs is that because it's not invasive, because patients virtually feel nothing when they're done a procedure, you shouldn't have to go to the Mayo Clinic. We love the Mayo Clinic, but you should be able to stay right here in your community and choose the hospital that you're comfortable with to have your cancer removed and taken care of. So as I mentioned, our North Star is the patient, and we believe that every patient should walk away from the hospital feeling pristine I guarantee everyone in this room knows a patient who's dealt with cancer and how horrible that experience is, whether they're having chemotherapy or radiation therapy or surgery. We're so fortunate that what we've developed really is pain-free. So they leave feeling, number one, like there's hope, but which is so important for cancer patients, but also they really feel leaving like they hadn't had a procedure done. So I won't go too in depth, but when you liquefy tumors, which is ultimately what we're doing with this sound energy, you can liberate proteins within the cancer, within the tumors, that actually create a body's own immune response. So not just treating the tumor that we liquefy, but we excite the immune system. One of the reasons that cancers are so deadly is they go undetected until it's too late. But if we can liberate the proteins in these tumors, the body then can recognize, oh my goodness, I've got cancer, and it starts to fight the cancer on its own. And so the patient you referenced, and we've got now many of them, where we treat a single tumor, but the patient has a whole body response, and we begin to treat tumors that we didn't even touch with the sound energy, but are affected by the proteins that are liberated within the body. It's pretty amazing.
Mike, I'm sure the day after the celebration, you all went back to work and said, what's next?
What's next?
What's the future?
That's
So
right.
take us on the next couple steps. What are you thinking about today that we might see tomorrow?
So in the immediate future, it's what I mentioned: liver cancer, kidney cancer, pancreatic cancer. And we all know how unfortunate pancreatic cancer is. My dad unfortunately passed away 5 years ago from pancreatic cancer, so it's a mission of mine. Beyond that, though, because it's not invasive, there's nowhere in the body we can't treat. So one of the really exciting platforms we have is in the brain. So completely non-invasive of not just cancer in the brain, but neurological disorders. We have the ability with sound energy to alter gray and white material or matter, to dislodge plaque that exists in your brain that causes epilepsy and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. My father-in-law is dealing with Parkinson's right now. A lot of those disorders we believe we can help patients overcome using sound energy. So I like to think, we think in terms of 10-year plans. We've got 1, 3, 5, 10-year plans. We don't plan out to 100 years, but I will tell you, 100 years from now, histosonics and histotripsy will be used to erode kidney stones into a fine dust so patients can pass them more easily than today, cancers throughout the body, neurological disorders, and even have the ability to liquefy fat. And not that anyone in this room would need that, but there's a lot of things we can do for cosmetic purposes as well, and that should go on for hundreds and hundreds of years.
So I gotta say, it reminds me of the old days when I was growing up, and who watched Star Trek? Yeah. Right? Yeah, who didn't watch Star Trek? Remember Bones? And he would take that one, whatever was in his hand, and he would wave it over a body part and heal it. It's like, this isn't too far away from that, is it?
It's actually really close, and we use that image from that movie quite frequently. And beside from the patient experience, I think the most amazing thing for me is to watch a physician who comes into Plymouth, into our office, and is skeptical. It seems too good to be true. I'm sure many of you are thinking that. And then they watch our presentation, they see a bubble cloud, like you saw a bubble cloud, which is ultimately what liquefies the targeted tissue or tumor. They get to use the Edison robot. Many of them comment, I can literally hold a coffee in one hand and you steer the robot with the other, which you did. Because it's not invasive, you don't need a sterile environment. So we could literally set up in this room and do procedures if we needed to. But it's that physician experience where when they leave the building, they leave their experience with us, they say, I thought this was almost unbelievable, but it's real. This is really true and really happening.
Well, isn't it amazing what's happening right here in Plymouth? Let's give Mike a big hand. Mike, thanks for all of your work. He might be around for a minute or two if you want to stop by and say hello and check out what's going on. And Mayor, you're going to be around for a minute or two. These high-top tables over here are for you and the mayor and the council members. So in just the next couple minutes, Mayor's going to head over there, and we'll answer questions and talk to you a little bit more about the great things happening in the city. How about one more big hand for Mayor Wosje and this year's State of the City? Thank you all for coming, and just in case you hadn't noticed, about 100 booths behind you to visit this morning as well. So after you talk with the mayor and the council, make sure you stop by and discover Plymouth. Have a great day.